All right, y'all, back on this Subaru. I'm going to remove the parking brake shoes on this passenger rear. I'm gonna start with these top springs. I got my tool here, hoping it's not too big. And then all you're gonna do is remove the little guys here with this tool. Again, this almost looks a little bit big. And then down here we have our adjuster, which we'll clean and lubricate. And probably leave it just like that, and we'll set the adjustment when we put the rotors on. And then of course, once we get everything off, we'll just clean everything up. But you want to just note kind of where everything's at. Note that our yellow spring is on the rear side, and let's get after it. All right, y'all, this is the rear parking shoe. You can slide the spring and get it off of the cable. Just remember how it orients when you reinstall. But putting this in a vise is going to be the best way to get this little horseshoe clip off. What you're going to have to do is somehow hold it and spread the little ears, or get a punch and just punch it off and then reshape it. Sometimes you want to just replace this. But what I think I'm going to do is get a flathead screwdriver, just punch it downward and hoping it will slide off. And then once I get it off, I'll get it reshaped, get everything cleaned up, and then I'll show the install of the new one. But definitely want to put this in a vise. It's a pain in the butt to try to do it on the vehicle. So, all right, y'all, I just basically went at it up here, basically just forced the two legs kind of down a little bit until I could get a little bit of a, I also use this thing to split and then kind of twist. And then once you have this little hole here, you could pry it that way and just pop it right out. So it's kind of tricky doing these. All right, y'all, I got the new one on there. Satisfied with it, nice and tight, not going to go anywhere. Sorry for the focus here. So let's go over to the vehicle and get the vacuum plate cleaned off and get ready to reassemble. All right, y'all, so what I ended up having to do is get a big C-clamp to hold the shoe in place with the hole lined up. And I was actually able to just do it by hand because they make a separate tool with a smaller head. This one doesn't work, and it was just impossible with this thing. There's no, it doesn't really grip. So I just did it by hand, and then I finished it off with literally just grabbing it and then turning it the rest of the way. So quick tip there. Lastly, you know, when I took this apart, I always kind of put all the parts in how they're supposed to be. And you see this strut bar thing. I'm just gonna clean everything up. You got both springs, so we're gonna put the strut bar in. Both of these we can actually fit in there. So we're gonna put this strut bar in first and then clamp the new shoe, which is not that one, I have a new one here. And then we'll be able to fit this on there, and then we'll be able to hook up. Well, we can do this either or. You can do these first or that one, but you just wanna make sure you get this spring on because it's a little bit more challenging sometimes. But anyways, guys, man, I'm working in the dang blistering sun, man. This is Anchorage, Alaska, and we've been getting amazing weather. We're just getting this old vehicle done here. All right, y'all, after multiple wrestling matches using most of all these clamps, I recommend getting the smaller tool, which I'm gonna get actually probably tomorrow. Depends if I want to do the other side tonight or not, but you need the smaller version of this. Go lots easier. Got this side in. That side's in. Got the lower, this part you can go on last. The adjuster, the spring. These upper springs in, both sides. They're laying next to each other with the backing plate around the horn of the backing plate. And what I did is I went on and off several times with the rotor, got my adjustment That's roughly about what I'm gonna go at. And it's just the shoe, if I put it on, it's just touching. And then after you drive it, after a few miles, you probably need to come in, and there is a rubber stopper back here that you can adjust on the vehicle. You probably want to do that to tighten things up, because it probably needs to do, I don't know, in fact, before I put it on, I'll probably spin it just a teeny bit more. There is an adjustment on the handle side, but this is your primary adjustment. You want it as close as possible to the inner surface without dragging. So it's just right there. So anyways, guys, we'll see if this rotor goes back on, and check it out here. I don't know if that's... Alright, that's really good. I like that. Still. Yeah. I like it. Once it gets onto the hub, there's definitely some drag. Alright, guys. Got the new caliper ready to disassemble, lubricate, put on like I did the fronts. This bad boy is ready for a core return, and then of course I still have this side to completely do, but then once you get that done with our parts, we'll be ready to bleed the brakes. First thing I'm going to do is kind of let everything gravity bleed, and then I'm probably going to bleed this master cylinder. I'll show you guys how to do that with it on the vehicle, but you basically pump it up, crack the lines. You're hoping for air to evacuate here and down there, but you never know. Best thing to probably do is pull this off and bench bleed it, but you just got to get all the air bubbles out. All right, y'all. All right, y'all, finally got this passenger rear dialed in. I went and hooked up the line, ready for bleeding. Gotta do the other side tomorrow. We are done for the night. I'm gonna do some lilac clipping. I'll help you, sweetie. All right, guys, we've got all four corners done. I just gotta hook up the brake lines in the back here. I've got this one already hooked up. I gotta hook up the front brake lines. I'm gonna leave them unhooked to see if I can get fluid through them first. So besides that side I actually know I had fluid at the line. This other side is not really dripping, so I'm sure this is gonna be a bit of a process, but the master cylinder is bone dry, so, and I already took this up just to see. I'm gonna put that back in, and then we're gonna top this off just to see what it does. Yep. Okay, I gotta let it. I got a light right in the camera. It's not the best lighting. I like the air bubbles. Definitely good to see that. So let that go. It's gonna take a little while, but I'm gonna keep filling it up. And what I'm looking for, guys, is I'm looking to gravity bleed it first. I'm gonna take the clamps off the front. Take the clamps. I'll hook up this rear one. And maybe I'll unhook it. I want to flow the fluid through the lines before I run them into this. So I think I'm actually gonna unhook that other side. I'm gonna have all the lines hanging, and I'm gonna see if I can get a steady, not a drip, but a steady stream of fluid. Possibly a drip. But I want to get just something out of each line so I can have a way better place to start. Now the best bleeder tool are the ones you can hook up and that'll actually gonna push the air up through the system. Usually what you do is you get your buddy, they pump up the brakes, and what you're doing is you're forcing air down and out the bleeder screw. So it takes more time and it's more scientific to just push the air up. That's where it wants to go. I just don't have one of those tools. They're pretty slick though. You just and there's other ways to bleed. They used to have a thing where you'd have a big tank that you could pressurize with brake fluid. You'd see, I've used it before. You'd seal off this, and the fluid would just basically push fluid through the system. You know, kind of a gravity / forced air. But again, once you get everything hooked up and the basic fluid flow, kind of, you know, fluid is flowing everywhere. The one wild card with this one is that he ran it completely out. And so again, I'll probably have to start with, depending on what I see out of the lines, which it is what it is. My very next step is to bleed this master cylinder, and we'll show you how to do that on vehicle. If I can't get it, I will have to remove it to bench bleed it, just in case it got too much air in there. You're just looking for a firm pedal feel after you've bled the brakes, no sponginess. But anyways, we'll figure it out, and let me get back to work here. All right, y'all. So just without doing anything, the let's see, passenger front is really the only one dripping actively. This back one was sort of doing something, but oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, it's this one. This is really weird. So it's this passenger rear one, or driver rear and passenger front that are dripping. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and hook those up and let it go until I've got fluid. I'm gonna undo the bleeder, crack it loose until I've got, well, that's weird. Now this isn't dripping anymore. So I think what's going on here, guys, is that the fluid is just dripping out of what's in the lines. I'm pretty sure with this system, it's new enough to where it's running through an ABS module, and I'm all wet on my my tricks here. So what I'm gonna have to do is basically get all the lines hooked up, bleed the master cylinder first, and then bleed the rest of the lines. Problem is, these lines are almost basically empty. So I really need to pick up some sort of a power bleeder or something. So, anyways, guys, oops, I didn't notice, so zoomed in still. Yeah, this theory works on older vehicles without ABS modules. So this plane probably wasn't the best. This one's still dripping, so I'm gonna hook this one up right away and see if I can get fluid continuing to drip out of any others. This is probably still dripping, of course, because the line is so long and it's just emptying, but who knows? Let's get it figured out.